What's up, YouTube? How's it going? Alright, so this is the second video where we're going to actually have some fun and learn some things, how to actually write some code. Um, so let's just jump right into it. And also, just so you know, you can use a Windows or Microsoft Visual Studio if you want. I just showed you both of them in the last video because some people don't really like Dev C++. I'm not really a huge fan of it either, but later on, when we start getting into GUI applications and stuff, I'll definitely um, be using Microsoft Visual Studio instead of Dev C++. But my goal is just to get the basics out of the way and teach you guys the structure of it and what to do and what not to do. Okay, so first click. Let's open up a source file. Click New Source File, and we can just start typing right away. But I like to save it right away, just so we'll just call this one um, my first application. So I'm going to be typing some stuff, and we'll have to get back to it and explain it later on. Um, but for instance, the include, I'll get to that later on, so don't worry. IO stream. This is what we typed in last time. Namespace, std, int, main, open bracket, close bracket. Okay, and you have to return 0. Now instead of just going and typing code, I'm actually going to explain to you how it works. So we're not just going to really jump into the code yet, but I wanted to have you at least just write your first program, your hello world, if you didn't do it in the last one. So type in cout hello world, or YouTube like I did in the last video, and L semicolon system pause. Without the system pause, it will just open and close. Here, I'll show you real quick. So without system pause, give me this error again. Hold on. Sorry, it doesn't like where I'm saving it, so I need to save it somewhere else. Okay, let's run it now. For some reason, see how it just popped up and went away? Without system pause, it's just gonna keep going away. So when we type system pause, it's compared to typing in pause if we were typing it into the command CMD. Okay, so now we've written our first application, and there's not really you can't really do much with that. So alright, so first I'm going to talk about variables and initiating them, how they work, what you can type in, what you can't type in, and why you can't type in the identifiers in certain ways. There are certain keywords in C++ that you cannot use as they are predefined. I'm going to post I'll post this with my video at the end of it. You can click it and download it if you want right now. Here are some words that you cannot use unless you're using them properly. And switch, true. So, for instance, if we want to do a integer, we can't type integer and equals 0. That won't work. We'll try and compile it. We'll probably get in there. Yep, see? It doesn't like it. So if we did int a, it'd be fine because that is not a predefined variable in C++. So what is integer? Integer is what it sounds like, an integer. you can use 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to, I believe it is, oh, here's a little table I have for you. Here's the span. You can go from this number to this number. Why can't you go over that? Well, the reason why is when you picture it as this integer, when you declare integer a, you are telling the memory, okay, set aside a piece of memory called a, and give it a value. Okay, we'll say a value of 100. Now, in memory, every time you go to access a, it is equal to 100. So integer is setting aside a certain amount of memory for to be accessed. Now, if you want to do say a bigger number, you're going to be using a double, and a double will actually let you use decimals too. So you can say 1.1. Don't really remember how high up a double can go, but it's pretty high, pretty freaking high. So if you want to go above this value, you're going to have to use a double. Again, a double, it can only be used for digits. Cannot be used for characters or chars. A char is just a character. So we'll say char c equals. Now you have to use just single quotes a. So now every time you go to, again, picture it as this, you have set aside a memory location called C, and it is equal to the lowercase letter a. Not, it does make a difference. Upper and lowercase do make a difference. And the same goes for if you want to declare a different one. C equals a. Lowercase c and uppercase c are actually two different variables. You cannot, I mean, you can you can do this, but I wouldn't really recommend it. It would get a little too confusing. But best practice is to use a variable name that is easy to remember and easy to understand. So say we wanted to set a value to 100, we could just say 100. And if we wanted to have a, I don't know, say one switch statement for a character and say it stood for a truck, we could call it truck and set it equal to T. If I could type. And just to reiterate, the keywords, some of the keywords, or the reserved words, are always going to be in lowercase. Return, for instance, is a reserved word. You cannot use return as a variable, or as a variable name. This will not work. I'll get a compile time error, and see it doesn't like it. So I mean, I could even just append it and put an underscore here, and it will take it because return underscore is not the same as return. So that will work. Again, if you download my document, there's a full list of them that you can get. And the last one I'll talk about is called Bool. I'm not really going to touch much on it right now. You'll understand more when I get to logical operators. Bool is a boolean, and what that is used for is to set a value to true or false. That's it. It will only have two. It can either be true or false, and nothing else. It's either gives the computer a 1 or a 0. 1 meaning on, 0 meaning off. So we'll say bool b equals true. So every time you refer to B in your code, it's going to be true unless you set it to false somewhere down the line of code. Um, Also, you should know when you do define your own integers, or I'm sorry, your own variables, um, it cannot start with a digit. You can use a digit in it, so I could use, say, 100 and 1 equals to 101, and that will compile. That'll be fine. I can use the 1 here, but I could not start. If I move that 1 to the front, that is not a legal operation, and it will get a compile time error. Also, you must make sure at the end of every statement you use a semicolon when you close out, or like here, you'll get an error. See how I get the error up here? You get the error up here because it's just telling you, okay, everything was cool until here. Once you got to this point, then that's when it crapped out on you. So, and you can see some of the messages down here on the bottom. See why it didn't work. It says, okay, invalid suffix, 100 and. Oh, okay, never mind. That's why, because I didn't take this out still. My bad. All right, let's do that again. Okay. See, still it's saying something's wrong happened up here. You can see it says expected semicolon before system. So everything was cool until it got to right here. So it knows that somewhere between here and here is where you had your problem. So we type that in there, and we should be good to go. Just some good practice. A good practice to use is to Camelcase your variables. So as you saw me put before, say this is my new variable. It's much easier to read than this is my new variable. Now, if you remember what I said previously, this variable is actually different from this one simply because this has uppercase letters and this one has lowercase letters. So we shouldn't get an error here because it's still allowed to do that. But once we have both of them, it's going to tell me that it's already been declared, or redeclaration, because it was already been declared. Alright, that's going to do it for this video. Thanks for watching. As you can tell, I'm still new, still trying to figure this out, or how to record these videos without stuttering and sounding like a freaking fool. I do plan. It might not look like it, but I'll get better as we go along. If you're not understanding something, feel free to comment, and who knows, maybe I'll just redo this video altogether because this one not nearly as planned. In the next video, though, I will be going over arithmetic operators and the order of precedence and comments and stuff like that. And I'll even explain more about declaring variables and how everything works. So thanks for watching, and please subscribe.